Scott Steiner promo where he's just telling everyone how bad Rick Steiner is and how great he is. But again, it's still edited. So clearly, I think they just went, just go into a room for 20 minutes and unload on your brother, because it's just him criticizing Rick Steiner, saying he's crap. At one point, they did a really good edit where they talk about him, Rick Steiner, riding on Scott's back for all these years. And they have the cutout of Rick Steiner put like superimposed onto Scott Steiner's back as he's saying this, which I thought was brilliant.
And it fits perfectly as well. It's exactly the same shape as his back.
Yeah, it fits perfectly to the shape of his body. And he just starts going over all the trophies he's won. Like, this is the Crockett Cup.
This trophy right here, Wrestler of the Year, State Champion.
And the one that got me was when it was clearly, obviously, yeah, I'm guessing it must have been a trophy they both won for like amateur wrestling or something, because he's going through everything going, you haven't won this trophy, you ain't won that trophy, this is mine. And then he goes,
you have one like this also at home.
I mean, I really enjoyed it, like when he was talking about the Steiner brothers and that. And then as well, they had like, they kept having clips of Rick Steiner getting clotheslined.
Weak link in the chain.
Yeah.
And then it would be Scott Steiner doing like Frankensteiners and stuff. And he's like, and then I tag you in at the end so you can get your 3 seconds of glory standing next to me.
Yeah. Scott Steiner, this, I mean, I've always loved the Steiner brothers as a tag team and all that, but oh my God, this is peak Scott Steiner. He hits it perfectly. He's the perfect mix. Actually, he plays like he plays snivelly heel here. Like, this whole thing is about him trying to avoid this fight. How can a guy that looks like Scott Steiner and be so dominant against Carew? No, that's why it works. He's winning handicap matches. He looks like the strongest guy in the world. And despite that, he's still like, oh God, I don't want to fight my brother. It works so well. But then as soon as he's not there, he's like, yeah, I carried you. It is so perfect. So perfect. And this promo is just brilliant.
And the Papa Pump, I know a lot of people go, oh, when he was in the Steiner Brothers, he was so athletic and stuff. I would trade 1,000 standing Frankensteiners for Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump any day. He is so entertaining in everything that he does. He's always entertaining all the time. Once you get into the 90s, Big Papa Pump, Jesus, man, that guy was a fucking megastar. The fact that Scott Steiner was not WCW World Heavyweight Champion long before he was is a travesty. And if he had been, he could have, that company, it could have been different. I think that would have generated enough interest.
Yeah, I've always said the time I would have put the belt on him was when they did and I'm sure we might get to it one day, the New Blood, where they stripped everyone of the titles.
Yeah.
And they put the US title on Steiner and the world title on Jarrett, and it was just the wrong way around. Jarrett should have been because Jarrett gave up the US title. He should have won the title. He should have won the title back again, that US title. I think that would have worked perfectly. But then Steiner should have been your world champion.
Yeah,
it would have been, because he was still great at that point. But yeah, this is a great promo, and it leads into probably my favorite segment of the night.
Hold the phone here. We are scheduled, at least on my sheet, it was Brian Adams and Rick Steiner scheduled for a matchup. I was not aware that Buff and Scott Steiner had an interview here. We're going to come to the ring. We've already heard from Scott Steiner. Why do we need to see him again?
NWO music hits. Crowd livens up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bagwell and Steiner come out, and I liven up too. These guys are so good. These guys are just so entertaining in everything they goddamn do. And this segment only helps them because it's magic all the way through.
Yeah.
The first thing I've written here, so they just come out. It's Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell. You know what you're expecting here. They've been money for the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Schiavone says,
incredible how low they will go.
Which is a perfectly fine statement on its own. And then Larry Zbyszko adds,
for the dough.
And I don't know what he means. Like, I know they do stuff for money, but like it's like he wanted to just throw a little rhyme in there or something.
Rhyme, yeah.
It didn't really add anything to it, but yeah, that was odd. The great thing about Scott Steiner with how much we're entertained by him right now and how much we love him as a heel, he is actively disliked, right? People are booing him. They do not like him. Or, it's one of those things with heels, isn't it? You start enjoying them as bad guys and then you want to see him as a good guy.
Yeah.
But Scott Steiner is still actively disliked. People do not like him, even when he's, as entertaining as he is. He's getting a lot of heat.
I'm Halloween Havoc, and I'm going to put the dog-faced gremlin's tail between his legs, and I'm going to run him right out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
They start saying their generic stuff. They don't say anything particularly new or interesting for what I can. Nothing jumped out at me because they're not out there for that long before Rick Steiner comes out to interrupt them, right? He gets a decent little pop. And with him, he introduces future WCW Tag Team Champion Judy Bagwell.
Yeah.
Legitimately Buff's mum. Now, the first point I want to make is, in kayfabe, Rick Steiner's a bitch, right?
I got your mom!
What I will say about this, right, is that my initial reaction was, because here's the thing, kayfabe-wise, Rick Steiner's a bitch.
Yeah.
He keeps getting his ass handed to him, he keeps getting tricked because he's an idiot, and he goes and gets the guy's mum, right? Bitch move. However, by the end of the segment, I was like, actually, Rick Steiner's a genius. and he's like 4 steps ahead, and actually this is like psychological warfare now. So he won me over, but my initial reaction was, oh god, he's got his mum. And I'll be honest, when he got Judy to come out, my initial reaction was, oh, this is going to be a crap segment. Like, it's not going to be. And what I meant was, it'd probably be entertaining. We'd probably have a bit of a laugh about it. It'd be crap. I thought this was great.
Can I just say, right? This WCW being WCW made this segment better than the WWE couldn't have done this segment like this.
No, I agree. 100%.
Judy Bagwell is just some old woman, and they sent her out there with a live mic. They had no idea what they were going to get, right? And it was a bit. You know what?
They clearly hadn't said to her, "Hold the mic like this."
No prep, but because of that, it was real. It was real. Like, it really felt real, and the way she was screaming, and there was no. Like, she was like, all her words were slurring together and that because she was fucking screaming. It felt really like a mum telling off an adult son, like really having a guy lost their rag with him big time sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, it really felt real.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
So real.
But no, you're 100% right. The WWE or even probably AEW now would go, right, let's script this out, let's get an actor, we'll play it, we'll really make sure But because they were just like, just go out and do it, which probably is kind of incompetent of them to do.
It could have been a fucking train wreck and could have blown up in their faces big time and been an embarrassment.
Yeah.
But
it was great.
I have to say, I know that she got big for her boots, and I know that they gave her the belt, and I know all this terrible stuff happened, right? But she does have a natural charisma, Judy Bagwell, and I tell you what, right? The crowd was so fucking into Judy Bagwell. It's amazing.
Judy Bagwell comes out and Rick Steiner gives her the mic. And Judy Bagwell, as we've said, it's just her yelling at Buff Bagwell. It's clearly not been. She must have had like an idea of the stuff she was saying, but really it's just raw emotion.
Several months ago, you laid paradise for me and your dad were at home, wondering if you're gonna walk again. What's wrong with you? I go there. Shut up! I go there if I want to. We went to the hospital with you. We sat by you for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And the more she was doing it, the more I was getting into it. And the crowd was super into it as well. This is the thing. I think any other heel in this company, if you'd have said you're going to get the mum to come out and yell at them, it wouldn't have worked at all. Steiner, Hogan, Scott Hall, anyone, it just wouldn't have worked at all. But Buff Bagwell being like torn down by his mum in front of a crowd, it works so well. It works so well. And the stuff she was saying was really good. Like, it actually gave a bit of nuance to the fact of what he's doing, right? It's like, it's not Rick Steiner's fault. Yeah, he broke your neck. It was an accident. He didn't mean to do it. Why are you doing this to him? Why are you? And so it was like, it made me sit back and go, actually, yeah, this is kind of it. Like he obviously holds a grudge against Rick Steiner that he broke his neck, and so when he's doing all this faking and stuff, it actually is like you must have a bit of a grudge against him. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then she was saying about all, when you're in the hospital, all these fans were writing to you, wishing you better, and you're just like, that means nothing to you. That all these fans were writing to you, wishing you well, and you're just, it was so good. And she's yelling at Buff, and he's just standing there, taking it all, and the crowd are loving it.
Several months ago, you lay paralyzed while me and your dad were at home, wondering if you could walk again. What's wrong with you?
I was amazed by the reaction of the crowd.
I was ready. I was waiting for the crowd to just be sitting there in silence or start shitting on it. No, they were thrilled. And in fact, so it carries on. She's ranting for about a minute, maybe. She's approaching him and stuff. She's standing on the ring apron. And then Buff grabs the mic and goes, "No, I'm done. I'm going to talk to you." And he starts giving it back to her a bit. At which point, Judy Bagwell steps through the ropes.
Oh, my God.
I support the whole family.
Crowd lose it because the mums just steps through the ropes and he's like, "I'm not taking this from you."
I was gobsmacked by the fucking reaction of her stepping through the ropes, getting into the ring.
Yeah, just stepping through the ropes to confront her son. It was amazing. And then obviously you do the thing where he keeps talking, and so what does the mum do? She gives him a slap, and the crowd again lose it.
I believe what you said.
Yep.
They love this, and it wouldn't have worked for any other wrestler. And if you'd have if you had described this segment to me, if you'd just said this is what the segment's going to happen, like very nonchalant, whatever, without even the emotion of it all, I'd have been like, "Oh, this sounds like ain't going to work. Like I can see this not working at all." But somehow, it works perfectly. So yeah, Judy Bagwell slaps Buff, big reaction, and then Scott Steiner steps in.
Scott Steiner fucking
and immediately grabs Judy Bagwell. I think like grabs her wrist or something. Oh no, or does she? No.
She squares up to him.
No, sorry, she squares up to Steiner. Sorry, and then Steiner just goes,
"Hey, woman, you ain't my mother. Get out of my face!"
and he starts like he would have knocked her out, like in kayfabe, he would have knocked her out there and then. But obviously Rick Steiner gets involved and fights off Scott.
Then Judy Bagwell walking Buff down back up the aisle by his ear. Crowd were fucking losing it, man. They were going fucking mental.
It was superb.
But there's his brother. She's dragging Bagwell off by the ear. Right by the ear. He's grounded. She's taking him home. Can you imagine if he used wire hangers? Oh, yeah, look at this. Are we loving this or what? Mom is in charge as always. There's Big Mama Pump.
It was this segment, 10 out of 10. Shouldn't have worked. Somehow did. I loved it. Every single moment of this, I thought it was great.